Picture this. You park your F-150 outside your house at night. Everything's locked. The alarm is armed. You walk out in the morning and it's gone. No broken glass, no signs of forced entry, just an empty spot in the driveway. Sounds like a movie? It's not. This happens thousands of times a year in America. And it happens to one specific model that has dominated the most stolen vehicle lists for nearly a decade, the Ford F-150. In this video, we're breaking down exactly why. Is it because there are simply more of them on the road than anything else? Is it a weakness in the technology itself? Or has an entire industry built itself around stripping this truck for parts? Stick around till the end, because you're going to hear how thieves can literally program a brand new key for your truck while you're asleep 20 feet away. Numbers that will shock you. Let's start with the facts. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, the organization that tracks vehicle theft statistics in the US, the Ford F-150 was the single most stolen vehicle in the entire country in 2023. Not the most stolen pickup, the most stolen vehicle, period. A year later, in 2024, thieves made off with nearly 13,000 F-150 trucks. And in 2025, even though that number drops to around 10,100 stolen units, the F-150 still firmly held a spot in the top 10 most stolen vehicles in the country. And here's where it gets interesting. Overall vehicle theft in America dropped to its lowest level in roughly 40 years in 2025. So while crime overall is going down, the F-150 remains the #1 target for pickup thieves. That's not a coincidence. It's a signal that there's something specific about this truck that makes it so attractive. It's also worth noting the F-150 isn't alone on this list. The Chevrolet Silverado also cracks the top 10, which brings us to our first major theory. Reason 1. Simple popularity math. The Ford F-Series, meaning the F-150 and the heavier Super Duty models, has been America's best-selling vehicle for more than 40 years running. Every single year, an enormous number of these trucks roll off the line and onto the road. And that's exactly the logic thieves use, the same logic any criminal uses when picking a target. The more of something there is on the streets, the easier it is to sell it, strip it for parts, or repaint it and resell it as new. When you've got hundreds of thousands of nearly identical pickups sitting in parking lots, garages, and job sites across the country, the F-150 basically becomes, for lack of a better word, a commodity for criminals. Add to that the fact that these trucks are hugely popular with contractors and tradespeople, meaning they're often found on job sites, often parked overnight in less secure locations, and often loaded with valuable tools in the bed. That makes them a double target. It's not just the truck getting stolen, it's the tools inside it too. Reason 2. Technology that turned against owners. Now we get to the part I personally find the most fascinating. How thieves actually pull off a theft without ever holding the key. The first method, which was huge a few years back, is called a relay attack. Here's how it works. Your key fob inside your house is constantly emitting a weak radio signal. Thieves use one device that gets close to your house or window to catch that signal, and a second device near your truck that mimics it. The vehicle thinks the key is right next to it. It unlocks and starts. The whole thing takes less than a minute, with zero physical contact with the actual key. The second, increasingly common method, an attack through the OBD port. That's the diagnostic connector under your dashboard, the same one a mechanic plugs into to read your engine codes. A thief breaks a window or gets into the cabin some other way, plugs in a specialized programming tool, and within minutes writes a brand new, fully legitimate key into the truck's memory. From that point on, the truck genuinely believes that key has always belonged to it. There's also a third, older but still active method. A thief simply looks through the windshield, writes down the VIN number off the dash, walks into a dealership and orders a duplicate key based on that VIN. No break-in, no damage, a perfectly legal way to get a working key for your truck. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that Ford hasn't just been sitting still. They rolled out a security app that lets owners remotely disable the truck entirely, along with a system on newer generations that introduces a forced delay before a new key can even be programmed, which frustrates thieves looking for a quick 2-minute job, not a half-hour ordeal. Reason 3. The truck isn't the target, the parts are. Here's something rarely mentioned when people talk about car theft. A huge chunk of these thefts aren't even about the truck itself. The target is the parts. F-150 tailgates are in such high demand that thieves have developed an entire system for removing them fast, on average in under a minute, even when locked. Reported tailgate thefts jumped more than fourfold over a 4-year span, according to NICB data. Taillights are another hot target. Owners on forums describe waking up in a hotel parking lot to find both taillights gone in under 30 seconds, with genuine replacements running over $1,000 each. Then there are catalytic converters, packed with platinum, palladium and rhodium, metals worth more per gram than gold. And then there's the more organised side of it, so-called chop shops, where an entire stolen truck gets stripped down to parts within hours and sold online as spares, with virtually no way to ever trace it back to the original owner. Police have busted these operations repeatedly, in some cases even inside Ford's own factories, where employees stole parts directly off the assembly line over a 2-year period, worth several $million. There's also a practice called VIN cloning. Thieves take the VIN from a legitimate, undamaged truck of the same model and transplant it onto a stolen one. The result? A buyer at a used car lot purchases the truck, takes it in for service a month later, and only then finds out they've been driving a stolen vehicle the entire time. The F-150 is, unfortunately, according to reports out of Canada, the #1 model for exactly this kind of case. Is the situation getting better? Good news to close this part out. The trend is improving. Overall, vehicle theft in America dropped 23% in just the first half of 2025 compared to the year before. And F-150 theft numbers have also been declining year over year since Ford introduced remote engine disabling through its mobile app, combined with closer cooperation with law enforcement. But let's not sugarcoat it. 10,000 stolen trucks a year is still 10,000 families and businesses left without a vehicle overnight. And on owner forums, new stories keep popping up daily. Someone lost a catalytic converter in a parking lot outside work. Someone lost both taillights in a hotel parking lot. Someone simply woke up and the truck was just gone. What you can actually do. If you own an F-150, here are a few things owners on forums consistently point to as genuinely effective. First, a Faraday pouch or box for your keys. It blocks the radio signal and prevents relay attacks while your keys are inside the house. Second, an OBD port lock. It physically stops a thief from plugging in a programmer and writing a new key. Third, dedicated locks for your tailgate and tail lights, since the standard factory lock won't slow down an experienced thief for even a second. And fourth, maybe the most important, a catalytic converter shield, and parking in a well-lit, ideally monitored spot, close to other vehicles or a wall so the tailgate physically can't swing all the way open. So, to sum it up, the F-150 doesn't get stolen because it's a bad truck. It gets stolen because it's everywhere, because its parts are a goldmine for organised crime, and because keyless technology, while incredibly convenient for owners, has opened up an entirely new door for thieves, both literally and figuratively. If you drive an F-150 or you're thinking about buying one, now you know exactly what to watch out for. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Has anything like this ever happened to you or someone you know? See you in the next one.